This year I celebrated Christmas by going for a swim in the ocean, and with my friends way out beyond the and up from the bottom came a turtle. It must have been 100 years old, way big, and then it came up and took some air, went down again, and it was unexpected, and I was frightened because it was so big under me. But then when somebody said, it's a very loving turtle, and I felt my heart go out to the turtle, and all there was love with this turtle, and it was my head, fear, and then love. And that reminded me of what Maharaji has told me over and over again. Ram Dass, love everybody. Ram Dass, love everybody. Love everything, love everybody. And I think that's a method. That's a method to go somewhere. It goes into the ocean of love. Because your heart goes out to the universe, and once we tune in to the plane of consciousness, we're all one. That one is what? Consciousness. One is silence. One is, we have names for it, Allah, God, the Mother. But one of the things is that one is love, and it's all around you. It gets there was the turtle and the ocean and my friends. We were all bathing in the ocean of love on Christmas. So he said to me, love everybody. And I've worked with that, and I've seen that when I don't love somebody, I cut myself off from God. When I push somebody away, so that because I'm loving everybody, which are all the faces of God. love it's a quiet thing. I'll tell you a story. When I first met Maharaji, I met him, and at this first visit, he performed a miracle. He told me what I had been thinking the night before, and 50 miles away. I had been thinking about my mother, and he knew that, just like that. That was quote a miracle, because we psychologists can't do that yet in the West. And then he said, "Sit here on the ground." When he was up here on his tucket, and I started to look down to the ground, and I started to think, if he knew that about me, oh my God, I know, he knew all of it. And all of it is numbers of things that you don't want people to know. They won't love you. And here I was, looking down at the ground, all of the things I wouldn't want anybody to know. And here he was, a mind reader. And finally, I got up my courage to look up at him, and I looked, and he was looking with unconditional love. He was loving me, and now I had to believe that all those unlovable things in me, he was loving that. And there was the miracle and the love. And I'll tell you that I was, right after that, I said to people, I have met my guru. It was life-changing. And I always pointed at the miracle, which was the life-changing element. And only in the past 2 years or so, and it was the love towards me was the life-changing time of that visit. And the miracle was it kept my mind busy. How did he do that? And when that love, because it just, before that I had never had anybody look at me with unconditional love. My parents wanted things from me, My professors wanted everything. People wanted stuff. My friends wanted stuff. And he wanted nothing. He just wanted nothing. He didn't want me to be good or kind or compassionate. He just looked at me just as it is. When that was a lesson to me, that things are sparkly like the miracle, that they change your perception of the love that is coming towards you. People that are offering you themselves to make you feel good, but that's sparkly, and the love which permeates our universe and is in everybody, that's the real thing. Because you can love enough people, enough environment, you can love your way into the one, and then you will be part of the one, or the one. But there's another part that you give love, like, I love you, I love you. But the only part is that left is, do you love me? And most of us have a hard time with people loving them. They have a hard time accepting love. And it works both ways. Giving love and accepting love, both keeps you in the one of love. We all have people that are on our unlovable list. And every one of those is keeping us from God, keeping us from the ocean of love. Is it worth it to use your judging mind? It's the judge. It isn't worth it, because the judge makes you feel secure in your individuality. Judging things. But the love overrides the individuality. That's where it's interesting. Look, we started out in this incarnation a little entity, and the world around us was just big. I remember my mother and father's knees were up there when I was there. And they were my life support. Everything was big, and I was little. And then I curried this individual, which you can. It was in my mind, a program that it was in my mind, an ego. I was powerful because I still felt lack of power and lack. Well, change is one of the. Change is threatening to most people. You're going to have change in your body, change in your friends, change in people die, the change in the environment is threatening. Because you're frightened and you're just that little fellow, the little girl. These things that captivate our consciousness when we're individuals. Once we know that we are part of the one. Once we are part of the Atman, as the Quakers call it, the small voice of God within. Once you're identified with that, you are big, and you're not frightened. You're not frightened. So you should love. You should be loved. Another time in Maharaji, my dance with Maharaji, I did a book called Miracle of Love. stories about Maharaji. We went around India and the West and got everybody's stories about their relationship to Maharaji. When I analyzed the material, the stories were almost all miracles. There were no stories about love, or very few. And when I said to people, what is it that impressed you about Maharaji? Said, oh, he was so loving. But they wouldn't come, the stories got the miracles, and they couldn't word or find words to the nature of their relationship. There's a story about Ram and Hanuman, in which Ram, who's God, or the One, says to Hanuman,
is it working?
Who are you, monkey? And Hanuman says to Ram, when I don't know who I am, I serve you. And when I know who I am you. And that's the way it is with us. We don't know who we are. So we do our actions in life.
I can hear it over this phone on yours.
And when we do know who we are the One. We are love. We are now. See, this moment is very interesting. One of the technicians is talking on his phone, and I'm terribly upset because he allows me to my conscience. Oh, and yet that is keeping me from God, and he's doing nothing that he shouldn't be doing. I mean, my guy, he's being a regular talking to the phone, and I just got furious, and that cut me off from the love. You know, I took care of my father during 10 years, I guess, in his 90s. And my father was a very ego-y man, very important, and hard to get along with. And when I thought of that my father at that time, my heart would close up. And then when he was 90, he and I explored our relationship of soul to soul. And just as he was dying, he became a soul, became identified with his soul. And I was so happy with him. And I remember when he was in his prime, we were sitting in 2 deck chairs at his farm, and he had a golf course there, and we were watching a beautiful sunset. And I said, "Dad, isn't it beautiful?" And he says, it's cut even." I said, "It's cut even?" Oh, he was looking the grass of his golf course, not the sunset. And in his 90s, he was lying in bed, and I was sitting next to him, and we were holding hands, and there was a beautiful sunset. And he says, "Rich, that's a beautiful sunset." I said, "Sure, Dad, it's wonderful." And there we could enjoy God's production, soul to soul. And now now every time my father comes to my mind, I get a warm feeling. I get into the sea of love, and that's yeah. So there's another word, surrender. It's used in the East, but in the surrender in the West is one person surrenders to the next person. But I like to think of the surrender to the moment, to the surrender to what is, surrender to how the one is unfolding. And when you sit around judging everything, you're in effect saying to God, I be a better God than you are. And it's a tough way to get close to God. Really, really. And if so, surrender to this moment, just your body, feelings, the state of the world, politics. It's all God. It's all God's way. It's all consciousness made manifest. Just consciousness made manifest. And in your makeup, you might be angry, or that's all part of it. That's part of this moment. Surrender to it. Surrender to it. Surrender to it. Maybe your dharmic mind is part of this moment too. It says, I should, this anger isn't good. That's the moment too. You see the sadhana is very complicated. Very, very complicated. Out here in Hawaii, Maui, I've developed the mind that goes with my soul, and that's eternal. I don't seem to be ruled by minutes, hours, and years. And I mean, when I was swimming in the middle of winter, I don't know what's going on. It's this. If it's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's always a beautiful day, and it's always here and now, beautiful day. And I hope your day is beautiful.